county champion as well in
All
Gaelic
right.
football. Yeah, so
What's the
that's
name?
up in time. Slattery, Patrick Slattery. He was
All right, right.
yeah, Austin Sachs captain in the '94 senior county championship team. So
Okay.
when they won the county championship, he ended up he was captain of that team anyway. All right, I suppose since we're on the rugby show, we leave the gas to one side for the moment. Then I suppose we don't
We're
need.
getting excommunicated, fucking Danny.
Oh, stop! The Brooklyn have kicked out of the group. Talk about
Yeah.
GA too much. Yeah.
We'll start the splinter group. Don't worry about it.
We'll start the rotating. Now, I suppose first thing we'll do then is we'll talk about the old Kerry Cavan game the weekend and Kerry's great win about that.
Yep.
Uh,
What went wrong with Loudon Donegal? Don't forget that.
oh, jeez, yeah, that's another good game, all right, anyway. And, I suppose the other yucky
Right,
thing is
quick,
that
Danny, come on before he cuts the feed altogether. Quick, get out the rugby.
oh, come on, it's just two of us. We might as well have some bit of fucking crack for fuck's sake. Ladies and gentlemen, I suppose better late than never to do the introduction. Welcome to the Monday night show of Mauls, Balls and All, the breakdown live on Facebook and on YouTube. Tonight, as you can see, it's only myself and the good old Bishop Len Brennan. We'll cover the Argentina Lions game. I suppose we'll have maybe a quick talk about a few other upcoming games we'll be talking about later on as well at some stage anyway as well. But Len, 28-24 Argentina Friday night. Cracker of a game.
Before we go on to that, Danny, can I just say that, regular viewers are obviously going to observe the fact that there's no sign of Matt Boland. And rumour has it that he bought a lottery ticket down in Cork there a couple of weeks ago. And he was asked Lamborghini heading for Dublin Airport. So enjoy it, Matt. Don't forget who your fucking friends are. A couple of shekels. So, the game, I'll name the colours to the mast here, Danny, right? Before we talk about the game. I enjoy the Lions, but I'm not a huge Lions aficionado like some people are, to be quite honest with you, right? Don't get me wrong, I couldn't wait to sit down and watch the game that weekend. As you well know, circumstances beyond my control, I had to watch it without any alcohol.
Oh, Jesus. You poor boy. You poor boy. You're poor fucking boy.
I survived and I made up for it later on. So we'll get past that. So, that's one thing.
Did you take my advice? Did you take my advice and just IV drips into the elbows and stuff? Don't can him up like that.
Yeah, the wife said she wasn't playing nurse to administer it, so I had to just go straight to the fucking can. Right, but look, as I said, I was sat down, I watched it, I enjoyed the game. I'll watch all the test games, I'll watch all the week games, and I will enjoy it. I like any type of rugby at this time of year, it's great to have. But I know some people get so, the whole, I get a little bit bored of the whole, who are you going to pick? And then it gets very tribal, you know what I mean? Gatland was all Welsh, Farrell, he's been accused of too many Irish on the team. Then you get down to the provinces, well, there's too many Leinster and there's not enough Munster and there's no Ulster. And fucking hell, after weeks and weeks of speculation, you kind of get fucking bored of the thing. And I enjoy it when it gets there. And then on the other hand, there is an element that it's a money spinning racket. Now, look, I get the fact that without it, the Southern Hemisphere teams and unions would be in fucking dire financial shite. They need the Lions there every 4 years for the shekels. It's as simple as that. So I get all of that end of it. But I don't buy in. I've bought training jerseys and Lions jerseys for the kids over the years. But apart from that, as I say, I'm not a huge... Now, on the other hand, if I'd won the lotto, the same as Matt Boland, I'd be fucking checking out now. I'd be with Matt checking out, you know what I mean? Any last minute packages and happily. Like, in fairness, if you wanted to go and follow that tour down to Australia and get all the matches, your flights, accommodations, you're looking at 20 grand a head.
At least. At least.
It's it's not the average man's look, some people retire or they save up and it's the dream to go down. I'm sure. I'd say now, in fairness, if you followed the tour, I'd say the crack is mighty. I'd say you'd be a Lions fan forever. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's beyond most people's means to go down and do it. But yeah, go on. We'll go on to the game anyway.
Yeah.
It was. I don't want to say it was 100% turnout. I think Mike Reedy was warning us the week prior that Argentina were a good team. There were no slouches, and they pulled off a win. And I have to say, I'm not going to say I'm patriotic because it's not a full Irish team, but I was delighted to see the Argies get the win. I think they were 100% value for their win. They played marvellous rugby, attacking rugby, flair, pace, lethal on the counter attack. Do you know what I mean? I tell you,
showing like 2 tries. Showing it 2 tries by who was it? Albornoz and Cordera. Their 2 tries were counter attack tries, if I'm right.
Yeah.
They were wonderful tries.
Yeah, and as James Brennan said it yet again, Cordero had when he came on, he was fucking immense for Argentina.
Yeah.
And we don't see any of that down in Connacht. You know what I mean? We see glimpses of it. But like he was fucking brilliant. I think like 1 to 23, every subject came on. They were very, very good. Very, very enjoyable to watch. And I'll be quite honest with you. If I had a choice, if they were going down, I'd prefer to see 3 test matches against the Argentinians than I would against the Wallabies.
Yeah.
I think it'd be far more entertaining series, put it that way.
Yeah, because like even then a few years ago there was second rumours about expanding the tour to include Argentina as well rather than the usual tri-nations, and maybe it's getting there. Maybe it's getting there for the Lions to include the test series in Argentina if it works out. But like players
I'd like to see it, but I can't see it happening because I don't think you'd be adding. It'd mean a loss of revenue to the the New Zealand, South Africa, and the Aussies because there'd be an extra 4-year gap in between before their payday.
Yeah.
Like I think I read somewhere that the Wallabies, the union is nearly fucking after remortgaging on the basis of the Lions to our cash. You know, they're that fucking strapped for cash. I read that somewhere or other. So like they're banking on this tour coming down to get their finances back on an even keel. So I don't think they would be too happy with seeing another Argentina.
Yeah. But what did you make of the overall Lions performances from the team that played concerning as far as first match?
It was poor. It was poor enough. There was some good performance. There were some terrible performance. I think an overall view was I thought they were trying to play pacey, fast offloading game, but I think they forced it a little bit too much. That's my own view. There was some of the passes because it was the tempo of the game. Some of the passes went behind guys. They were fumbled. There were a lot of knock-ons. Some of the offloads were ill-timed. So I reckon if they had a little bit more time than a couple of, the midweek games under the belt, that would have been a lot slicker, a lot more passes would have gone to hand, and it maybe would have been a different scoreline. Plus the fact that you had, Cowan-Dickey had a try ruled out, and was it Tupiloto had a try? There was 2 tries.
Ruled out, yeah.
Yeah, so look, it wasn't an absolute fucking hammering by any means. And it was a warm-up game, and as Dara Weston calls it, a makey-uppy cup. So, I don't think Andy Farrell was too happy about it, though, to be quite honest with you. Post-match interview, I think he expected better from it. But, there was... what did you think of it?
When I saw that match, it reminded me of when Rowntree took over Munster for the first time. The first few games, when Munster were playing, or the Rowntree. Some of the lads knew the plan, especially the Irish lads, let's say Byrne, Aki, like some Beatham, Furlong, stuff like that. They knew what they were doing, more or less, with with what Farrell wanted. It was just the rest of the lads, they were used to a different system. They didn't entirely gel together into that system. And like you said, it's only their first game. It's Farrell's first match in charge of it. So it's going to take those few games to get a bit of traction. But in saying that, the line out itself seemed like a bit of a shambles at times. There's a couple of overshots, there's a couple of missed timings and stuff like that. There is promises there, but I honestly thought when Itoji went off, the pack seemed to improve that a little bit more. Now, I think he's a good player, but why he's captain, I don't know. I think someone like Tyburn might do a better job if he's given the captaincy. Now, I know he's a monster player. I'm a monster man. Mm-hmm. Fair enough. But I think he has that better way about him in terms of getting the best out of players. Itoji's good, but he just needs to be kind of left doing his own thing. So that's my entire situation, I suppose, of how they are. But
on Itoji, barring injury, they're not going to replace him as captain for any of the test matches.
Unfortunately, it looks that way, all right.
If he's playing, he's captain. It's as simple as that. Look, I thought he had a very poor game. I thought he done okay. He caught a few line-out balls, so he was okay in the line-out. The scrum actually was decent enough for him. They had, slight upper hand in the scrum. So as a lock, the second row, he done his job as Roy Keane would say, which was to fucking bend over and fucking push in second row. That's about fucking it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but other than that, around the loose and the fucking breakdown, I thought he was fucking abysmal, to be quite honest with you. I thought he was fucking there. I thought he didn't lead. He just fucking wandered. I thought he was slow. He just kind of fucking ambled around the field. That's my own fucking view. Now, I think what you were saying as well, though, I think you're right. We're talking about Tyg Furlong, Beelum, Tyburn. Basically, what the Irish lads are obviously will be more clued into Andy Farrell's plan. So what you're saying is the English lads made the balls of it. That's more or less your point, is it?
I think the rest. I like the way you're trying to see. You should have been Kerry Hoorism there now, but I said they didn't have time to gel properly as a team. So I'm not placing the blame on the English lads. I'm just saying, as a whole, as a unit, they didn't have time to gel properly. But and I made this point before we came on air. The Irish lads know Farrell in the system and know what he's looking for. The rest of the lads aren't as in tune with that. So that's why I think the Irish lads perform maybe that bit better. They will get used to his Farrell system and they will get used to how he wants them to play and stuff like that, but it's just going to take a while for everything to click right. That's how I made the comparison with Roundtree and Munster from his first season there as well. But that squad, bar maybe, as you said, Itoji and a few others, do you think that would look more like a midweek squad than an actual test squad?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Look, I mean, there's a lot of talent coming in. Like I look again. Look, without you see, this is where you get the tribalism part of it. But I did think the Irish lads in the main, Beelum didn't have a fantastic game, but he didn't do anything wrong in that game. So I think he's fairly safe. I think he'll be in the reckoning for Byrne is a class operator. Yeah. He's going to be there. Aki most definitely will be there. Like the fact that Farrell put Tuipulotu at 13 because we know Aki is a 12. 12. But in fact, I think as well, Aki is like Tuipulotu is just not a 13, but Aki is well capable of playing 13. No problem to him. You know what I mean?
He's done it for Ireland and Connacht. Because I remember him, was it last season or this season, Six Nations, or was it previous Six Nations? McCloskey and Aki were 12 and 13. Was against Italy or something. Yeah. So we know he can do it.
Why didn't he just flip him around? Look, I'm sure he had his reasons, but I think it would have been much more effective if he had put fucking Tuipulotu at inside centre and leave Aki on the outside. I think it would have been far more effective. Well, look, he obviously has his reasons, or maybe it may be just the case he wanted to see how Zioni would actually go at 13. Is he adaptable? Maybe that was the reason for it. Look, we don't fucking
Yeah.
know. We're only guessing here. But like there were some decent performances, and there was some. Kevin Dickey was fucking brutal. Like he was very, very fucking poor. Like, and it's hard to believe. Like this is his third Lions tour, isn't it?
I think so. Yeah, he's been on a few of them.
You know what I mean? So, like
Yeah.
I cannot see that man playing in any test match. I couldn't
Yeah,
see it.
it said that's why. Yes, was it more of a midweek team than a full test team? And
Yeah, look,
it
like I think there's definitely a couple of test starters in that
Yeah.
there at the weekend, without a doubt. But what he has though, he does have a lot of first timers. There's a lot of fucking lads. This is their very first tour. I mean, I'm not sure the split, but it's 50-50 or maybe even slightly more first timers than there is old heads. Yeah, so maybe
he's looking to the future as well.
Yeah, maybe Kevin Dickey is there just because for the experience. You know what I mean? That a wiser head. You know what I mean? And he's experienced it, and he'll with the likes of Sheen. Well, like I mean, fucking. I don't think Sheen can be really taught anything, do you? You know what I mean? I don't think
He's got that instinct about him, and that's it. That's the thing to say about Sheen.
Yeah, I don't think anything is going to face Sheen. You know what I mean? No.
Yeah.
I think he got in. Well, look, it is what it is. But who else was in it? Like, I thought Aki took it. I was nice to see that the Irish lads get tries. I thought Aki took his very, very well.
4 of them. Yeah. Two to three tries were from Irish lads because the try in 40-50 minutes there's a penalty try. So basically the only two of the Irish lads scored the tries. Burke is in there with a few comments as well. He said Lions looked like they just met in the pitch and they were awful. And he said to the Sunday League team, they were shite.
Get off the fence there. Get off the fence.
Come on, he's nearly worse than Mike Reedy now sitting on the fence, huh?
Yeah, look, like who else had it? Like Kevin Dickey, I thought was poor. I thought Genge was actually good. I thought he had a very decent game. He was like very solid in the set piece, and that line break that he made and the carry for Burns and eventually set up Burns' try. Yeah. Like it put him in the shop window without a doubt. Yeah. So I could see him as being one of the starters. Or
maybe one of the lads on the bench, depending on how injuries and stuff go in the opening couple of games and stuff.
Yeah. Go on, yeah.
The big question we have to ask, and this is, I know Peter's going to get very excited by it when I ask this one. Finn Russell at 10, is that a cert? Or do you think you go with Finn or Marcus Smith?
Well, we know Marcus Smith is not a 15 anyway.
Yeah. So hence why you have Derek Kinghorn. Giggity. That's Sarah having now.
Yeah, look, Smith wasn't atrocious, but he was out of position a lot of that game. You know, but look, that's understandable. Like it isn't, you know, he's a fucking fly half, and that's it. You know what I mean? So, you know, you're paying, especially the aerial bombs that the RGs were dropping down on him. Like there was a couple of high balls in there, and they're pacey as we said. You know what I mean? They're attacking at every angle. He was out of a position for a lot, and like he was probably responsible for one or two of the tries. You know what I mean? Yeah. Falling off tackles. So I definitely think it's Russell is going to be the preferred for the test games. As much as Peter Burke isn't going to like it. It's
But who gets the 15 jersey then?
Well,
if Kinghorn's not fit,
Keenan.
Huh?
Keenan or fucking Kinghorn. It's simple as fucking that.
I suppose so. Yeah.
Like he's not a 15, but then again, look, I don't think Joe Schmidt is never to be underestimated, right?
Yeah.
So he will have a plan. There is no two ways about it. He knows Ireland inside out.
Yeah.
The bulk of the Lions players are Irish, right?
and
managed
from
by,
Leinster.
and from
So
Leinster, right?
yeah,
He knows Andy Farrell extremely well.
yeah,
So he will know what's coming down the tracks towards him. He will drill the Wallabies to an inch of their life, and he'll have a game plan. Whether he has the personnel to implement that game plan is the question. Personally, I think it'll be maybe a 2-1. 2 wins to the Lions, and maybe the Aussies might actually fucking pull one out of the bag.
yeah.
I look with the talent he's bringing down there. It should be fucking. I think that Argentinian game the other night will probably be one of the harder games they face. To be quite honest with you.
Yeah, because you know what, one second, let's see what other games they're bringing up here. They had Argentina. The next one they have now is Saturday. That's against the Western Force. There's the Queensland Reds then July 2nd, and the Warshes July 5th. Then they have the Brumbies on the 9th of July. So that is basically those 4 games are going to decide who's who and who's where. Because their last game before the test is the 12th of July, and that's against Australia and New Zealand 15, the Sands 15, or whatever you want to call them. So that's where they're going to be really deciding their combinations and stuff like that in those 4 games. So
yeah. Look, in my view, I reckon Andy Farrell knows exactly who's going to be starting most of those games, barring injury. That's just that. What would you think?
I'd say he has after Friday night. I'd say he has more or less he's starting 23 or his match day 23 ready.
80% of it anyway.
Yeah. I'd say what he's going to do now is just making sure his match day 23 gels, and I'd say he's going to make sure that any injuries that may happen across the pitch, that the midweek test teams, they're going to be the ones. Their games just going to be said, okay, let's get out the ring, Russ. Let's see what we can do. Let's see if we can stick our hand up enough to get noticed. Yeah. Because if you look at it, the first tense is against Australia the 19th of July. Their last midweek game is the 22nd, which is Tuesday. So they'd have 3 or 4 days for players, if there was any last minute injuries, for them to come up to the bench or start in 15, whichever. But it's going to be, I'd say he has a fairly good, I'd say by the time the Western Force game is over and the Queensland Red games are over, but the 2 of them are over, he'll have the 23 starters, and that's it. And that's pushing it.
Yeah, I do. And I think the midweek games will be to try maybe some new calls in the line out, bits and pieces like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Maybe a couple of fucking training park plays that they might, from a maul or fucking a scrum on the 5-meter line or something like that. And basically solidify who his second choices are going to be, really. And I think that would be my view on it. Maybe I'm completely fucking wrong.
Lads, Jesus Christ, I have to fucking interject.
Here comes fucking Stocky, look.
Good, because
Hold on. I don't normally fucking do this, right? But it's Danny's show, right? Danny's show, as always. Len and Danny, I have the starting 15 here for the Argentinian game in front of me. How many of these players do you think? I know you were talking about the first test there, Danny, and fair play to you. Let's go with 15 up to 1, right? Now, Marcus Smith at 15. Start. No. Right. There you go. Tommy Freeman.
Start at 15, you mean? No.
Yes, no, start for a test game. No, Danny. No.
Yeah. In that position. No.
In that position. No. All right.
No.
Tommy Freeman, Danny. Len. At 14.
No.
No.
Right. At 11. 13, outside centre, Tuipulotu. Played out of position.
No.
No, he needs to be moved to 12.
No.
Right. Bundyaki, inside centre at 12.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Maybe
Danny, yeah.
do a job 13 maybe, but earn that 12, yes.
Yeah, okay. 11. Fucking shite player. Jesus. Duhan van der Bollocks. Would you
Van der
start him?
Hairspray, he was fucking atrocious, right?
Yes.
Fucking missed tackles, fucking acting the fucking bollocks. He's gone.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like, not a hope. Like, no one the likes of fucking, the wingers that we fucking have, like, no, he's gone. He won't
Right.
fucking hope. They'd be lucky to make the
Oh.
fucking midweek games. Go on.
Good, yeah. Go on. Danny, would you start Duhan van der Pants?
Over James Owen and McAnson, no.
Right. Okay. Then we have 10. Was okay. Finn Smith.
Finn Smith, he wasn't bad. Like, he
wasn't
managed,
bad.
I
He
thought
wasn't
he managed the game well. You know, in a lot of traffic coming fucking at him at pace, I thought he was okay. But Russell started 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Danny, Finn Smith at 10. Would you start him in the test match?
No, I nearly have Marcus Smith as the second choice 10 behind Russell in a test game.
So would I, yeah.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
And at scrum half, now he's not a bad player. Normally, he's not a bad player. Alex Mitchell. He's not a bad player, but he was.
Yeah. Gibson Park. No. Gibson Park starts.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Number 1, Ellis Gange, I thought was excellent.
I thought he was very good.
Yeah. Now you mentioned. Sorry, go on, Danny.
If you start, hang on though. If you start Genge, that means Porter doesn't start.
Yeah. So I'd have Genge on the bench.
And in fairness,
Schumann
was good when he came in as well. I thought Schumann had a good game when he came in.
Yeah.
So
there's competition there.
Yeah, there is competition there. That's the only one that, like, you know, is not pinned down. It's Genge Porter. Porter tends to give away a couple of penalties here and there, but
but that's because he's always pinged as giving away that though, Len. Because
that's true. I'd agree.
Now you mentioned the hooker already, Len and Danny. Luke Cowan-Dickey. Would you start him in the test game?
Oh, absolutely. No. Yeah, I'd start him as the fucking water boy. Sheen is the start. Sheen's the starting fucking hooker there.
Right. There's some high quality hits to him. If you know the reference.
Yeah.
Okay, and what did you say?
Yeah, there is some high quality hits to him. If you know the reference, you know the reference.
Right. Okay.
And the water boys.
I know I'm going to leave you after this. No,
go on, carry on.
No, I'll go on to now. 3, Finlay Beelum. Would you start Finlay, Danny, Len?
Look, you have Furlong and Stewart. I'd start Beelum, to be quite honest with you. I don't think Tyke Furlong is fit. I think Beelum would be my starter, and I don't know how fucking. I'd have maybe Furlong on the bench. Stewart, I'm not 100% certain on, to be honest with you. I'd actually start Beelum at tight head.
All right. Danny?
I'd go with that one. All right. Beelum starting Furlong off the bench.
Okay, and your two locks, gentlemen, who started against Argentina, would they be test starters? You have Tyke Byrne and Maro Itoje.
Byrne, yes. Itoje, no.
I'd go with Joe McCarthy or go with Chesney over fucking Itoje.
Yeah.
All right, Danny.
Even Scott Cummins, to be quite honest with you. I just think fucking Itoje should be on the bench. Now, I don't know how that's going to fare out with the fact that he's captain.
Itoje should be on the fucking plane back home.
Well, he should. Yeah, but Farrell's made him captain. So what the fuck do you do there?
Yeah, true. Danny, that second row, would you with Byrne and Itoje, who would you have starting test level?
Byrne only. Because Itoje, I'd drop to the bench, and I'd probably have Chesney in there maybe. Perfectly Joe McCarthy because he has that kind of beef, but no, Itoje's not good enough for me as far as I'm concerned.
Okay, good call, Danny. Okay, and your back three, you have Tom Curry, Jack Morgan, and Ben Earl, all started against Argentina. Who would you have of those three, your back rowers, starting a test match?
Of those three.
Yeah, well, they started against Argentina. You had Tom Curry, Jack Morgan, Ben Earl, Len.
Yeah, but like, what about the likes of Conan and Van der Fleer?
I know, but that's the question. So who would you start of those three in a test match?
Of those three? I'd probably start Morgan, to be honest with you. Personally.
All right. Okay. Danny?
What would you, Danny?
Before I leave you.
I tell you what, I'd put Conan in at 8.
Yeah.
I'd put Van der Fleer in at 7. And you keep Curry at 6.
What about Pollock? What about Pollock, Danny? Do you think Josh Van der Fleer takes Pollock's place?
Sure, Pollock was on the bench, wasn't he?
He was, yeah.
Yeah,
but for a test start, Danny.
Do we think Van der Fleer to take Pollock's place? Are you serious?
No, or either or, Len.
There's Van der Fleer,
obviously. You know what? I'd drop Jack Morgan down to the bench and drop Pollock completely and keep him for the midweek games.
Yeah,
that's
Conan, definitely think Conan at 8, without a doubt.
I don't know. Who's your open side and blind side, Len?
I don't fucking know. Like, to be honest with you, like with me, I think Van der Fleer is has to fucking start. You know what I mean? Fucking Curry. What did you think of Curry in the game? You were at the game, Peter. What did you think of Curry? Because from your vantage point, you can see a lot more of what happens in the game than you can from watching it on television. So your overall impression of Curry?
Surprisingly, I actually like Curry. I think Curry plays better for England than he does for anyone else, club or Lions. I don't know why that is. Curry is a good player, but I don't think he had a lot of players who have good gravitas and good CVs didn't turn up for the Lions on Friday. Now that could be simply because, as I said, it looked like they all met for the first time on the pitch. It is an opening game. It is, as you mentioned, Len and Danny, we've mentioned before, that it is a make-you-up cup thing. It's a money grab. It's €202 for a ticket to go and see them. Swell the coffers. Get a fucking ragtag, not a ragtag, but get a team together with a few names to run out. Sell it to everyone. Keep the corporates happy. I'm drifting off point here to go back to Tom Curry. Tom Curry is okay. Tom Curry's a good player, but he didn't really have a great game on Friday.
From watching on television, there was a couple of missed tackles by Curry. There were soft tackles that he missed. I didn't think he'd done himself any favors to be fucking a starter in the test games. Well, look, put it this way: what he done well, he done very well.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, you did. Yeah.
Yeah, but all
right, listen. Sorry, go on, Jess. No, I don't want to.
Come here, I'm going to do a Peter Burke on it. Here's a question for you now, right?
Go on.
Before you leave us.
Go on, quick.
I saw somewhere online, right? There was some girl, some influencer, right?
I had nothing to do with that. I had nothing to do with her. She was in Club 92. It wasn't my fault.
I was home by 9. I wasn't even in the hotel.
I was home.
No. Right. There was some influencer there, some young girl, right? It's not our demographic. We won't be following her, put it that way, right? But she was photographed pitch side, one of the best seats in the house, on the right on the midway line, getting a photograph, and apparently the seat cost €490. It was gifted to her by the Aviva Stadium or the Lions or whoever to get likes and what have you on Instagram, right? And the majority
Are you serious?
What?
Are you serious?
Yeah.
She was gifted a ticket to get likes on Instagram.
Well, as that's what these fucking influencers do. You know what I mean? This is the shit. Like, I know a couple of fucking guys that own restaurants, and basically there was a plague of fuckers for years. We're going, ring up, this we'd like to make a booking for 4. Yeah. By the way, I'm an influencer. I have 230,000 followers. So, you give us the meal on the house, and bottle of wine, what have you, and we'll give you a good review. Like, it's a grift, basically. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But this girl, anyway, look, I'm not saying she is or isn't. This is, I think it was Twitter, right? So you can't believe everything you read on Twitter. But her photograph was there, and basically was more or less said that that was a 490 euro seat that was given to an influencer. Now, it may not be true, but we do know that there's plenty of influencers out there that do get seats and, positions of games and what have you, right? My question is, would you agree with it? Because, as I said, we are not her demographic. I'm not even on Instagram, so I haven't fucking clue, right? I wouldn't be following her. But is it good for the game that maybe she does have 238,000 followers that haven't a fucking bull's notion about rugby, see her at the game, looks like this is great crack, great atmosphere, and maybe go to a game? You know what I mean? Best of luck if they can actually get fucking tickets for an international, but however, I can't see them going to their local club for a game, right? But look, maybe it helps. I don't know. But
I know the question. I know the question you're asking. Then I know the question you're asking.
Yeah.
I think that is an absolute load of bollocks, right? Because it is so transparent that an influencer. Why don't you be an influencer in what you know? I don't know what this woman does or who she is. What you're talking
No, I
about.
haven't clue who she is. No.
If she's into fashion, if she's into tennis, if she's into golf, if she's into football, do that, right? The fact that she got a freebie to take a picture of herself to her 230,000 followers, whatever it is, that she's at a rugby game. No one is going to give a shit. So what? You're at a rugby game. Everyone's just going to look at her photograph. She's in the Aviva Stadium at the Lions game. So fucking what? Big deal. Brilliant. I think that sort of marketing, is absolutely fucking shameful. I was at the game. I could have done that. No, I don't have 230,000 followers. I don't think I'd like 230,000 followers, to be honest with you. Like it's not right. It's just not right.
30 followers.
I know. I think I've more than that, but I don't think I'd like 230,000 followers. Like, it's not like, who the fuck am I to tell people or to influence? I'm not a fucking influencer. I like rugby.
You're not an influencer, Peter. You influence everybody.
God almighty. No, Len. To answer your question, I don't think that's. I don't think influencers who have genuinely no interest in what they're at, they're just going for the Instagram pics. I hate that. We discussed this in a show way back, about freebies and sponsors and all this. Unfortunately, it's part of the game, but I just don't agree with it.
There is actually marketing departments from various companies, though, that do actually seek out these to promote their products. And I'm quite happy.
I'm sure they do. I'm sure they do.
Yeah.
If someone sent me a ticket, going, here, listen, we'll give you a ticket to go and sit in Centre Court for Wimbledon. I'd go, well.
Just if anybody from Diageo is watching,
Right, go on, lads. Anyway, sorry I interrupted you. Go on. Good luck. Danny.
Work that deal with the dynamite as well.
Come here. Before you go.
Go on.
I'll put it to you this way.
Go on.
If she was a rugby influencer, if she had influence in rugby circles, we know who the fuck she is.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
And she probably would have played the game or been involved
or something along those lines. Yeah. So my view is the same. It's quite the same as yours, and that was the general view on Twitter, that this girl has taken up a seat. Well, look, sure, best of fucking look to her. If she, hey, you know what I mean? If I had the looks,
okay, go on, Danny. Sorry for crashing your show. Go on, I'll leave you to it. Go on. Good luck.
Then I'll answer that question of yours now in a second, but Sonia Croak here in there as well says, Captain Jack, don't be told you the shrinking virus.
Correct. Spot on.
Without it. Yeah, I get what you're saying about the influencer, and I think it's a bit of a double-edged sword in a way. First of all, it's great that a lot of those people are seeing that are made aware of rugby games. You might take up a bit more knowledge. They might take up watching games and stuff like that. They might get into sport, especially maybe younger adults or maybe young people that haven't been involved in it. You might just look, I haven't watched the game in a while. I might throw in another game, see what it's like. See if I can get back into it.
Now,
But
in fairness, that
yeah,
was the only upside. Fair play, Julian. That was the only upside I did actually see of it. I'm
yeah,
sure. Look, as Peter said, does she normally market cosmetics or beauty tips or whatever? Now, this probably come across as very, very sexist.
yeah,
But as I said, I actually don't know. But if is her target market is teenager girls or whatever that
yeah,
follow her, and they have an inkling of rugby, and they see whoever this influencer is at a rugby game, they might flick over and watch a couple of Lions games, and on the back of
yeah,
that, they might get into it. And you never
yeah.
know. A few years down the road, we might have a girl playing for the Irish women's team. You know what I
Because of
mean?
it, yeah,
Because of it. Now that would be the only upside I'd see. So look, maybe the marketing department look at it that way. Look, fucking who am I to fucking question it? I haven't a fucking clue.
yeah,
If somebody, as Peter said, somebody's given me a which side fucking ticket to show my mug on an Instagram photograph. I'm there, lads.
yeah. But on your side of it, I agree with your point as well that if the person has, let's say, if they're a big enough influencer and they're involved in rugby in some way, I could prefer to take it on to them.
Yeah.
I prefer to take it on to them because like, they have a little bit of a nuances. They can make their own thing about it. They can do something serious about being at the game. They can make a little bit of a joke about it or whatever and stuff like that. That's fine. But on that, no, I'd be very selective about who is going to rugby games. It's like sending Thierry Henry or Cristiano Ronaldo to say the Ireland England Six Nations game and have showing their mug and showing their face on TV just to say that they were there or something like that. And same with the other way around.
But I will look at in that case, Thierry Henry are these they're sportsmen. So you know what I mean? Like a lot of sportsmen are very involved. You know what I mean? They like they will
pretty
go
much
and watch
something else,
out
right?
sport for the love of it rather than just it's these fucking Instagrammers and look our own Matt Boland, sure don't we know? He had a fucking photograph on every celebrity up and around the Aviva. In fairness to him, I think Matt now is becoming a bit of a celebrity. You know what I mean? The 250 million now might go to his head completely. We have to be careful.
Yeah.
Will we ever see him back, Dan? He's a huge loss. Will we ever see him back? He'll probably be doing a
Oh, geez,
podcast.
no. After Eurovision's win, no. Not a hope. We'll never see him back.
No. He'll probably he might phone in a fucking a podcast from the Seychelles or someplace off his yacht. We'll look forward to that.
Yeah, all right. Sonia Crokin here as well. Influencers are a cheap way of marketing compared to TV or radio ads. They appeal to Gen Z, which is a whole other demographic, which I suppose is the current generation we have.
That's actually a very good point by Sonia because, okay,
yeah,
490 euros is very small penis compared to an ad on television or radio. So, maybe we're looking at it the wrong way. Maybe that's there's nothing. It's a drop in the ocean, maybe. Yep.
Sonia Crokin, not agreeing with her getting that gem of a seed, by the way, just jealous, but I can agree with that as well. Even the right fans and the best seats in the house, I suppose, but corporate are going to do what corporate are going to do, and they're going to snatch up as many good seats as they can.
Well, do you know what? Like, there's another fucking necessary evil is the corporates because fuck me, Pink. Some really good seats actually in some stages fucking private fucking boxes for corporate companies. Now look, you complain about it in one way, but without the corporate sponsorship, you're fucked. You know what I mean? So you need a corporate sponsorship. So if the corporates want to entertain clients and give them a day out, and those clients have absolutely zero interest in rugby, having a fucking clue who's fucking playing who, right?
Yeah.
And they're on the fucking jolly. But at the end of the day, they're probably a necessary evil. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it is hard to see genuine fans not being able to get a seat for, never mind the Lions, but the internationals now, because look, realistically, the Aviva is actually too small for internationals. You know what I mean? The 50-odd thousand. Actually, there was a point that Peter put up on the group. The 51,000, the attendance at the game against Argentina was
What's the
the
record?
biggest. That's a fucking amazing fact. That's the biggest attendance at a Lions game ever.
Jesus, that's saying something.
That's
But
ever.
was that?
Like that's like, and I presume that's including test matches.
Yeah.
So, one good thing about it is it shows the growth for rugby in Ireland, regardless of who's at it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, that like you go down. I remember when he played South Africa. Like some of the South African, I know they're larger stadiums, but there was one or two fucking test games there where there was only half fucking full, which is it was absolutely scandalous. And on a Lions tour, that it's on your doorstep, and tickets much cheaper than they are on this side of the world.
Oh, jeez, yeah.
And they only half fill a stadium, you know.
Yeah.
So look,
But,
that was something to be fucking proud of from an Irish point of view, anyway. That they had the highest.
I sure. But do you think? Now I know there's limitations around Lansdowne Road for expenses and stuff like that. Because the dark line at the back of the was it South Stand or something like that, or not, and one too. But if they could have expanded the stadium, let's say to close to 65,000, do you think that would have been better off for the IRFU to make tickets that bit cheaper for fans?
Yeah. Look, with the population of Dublin alone and Corpus and the whole lot, I think even at 65,000, I don't think it would have made it any cheaper. You know what I mean? It would just meant a handful of genuine rugby fans, you know, another 10, 15,000 would have managed to get in, but I don't think the ticket prices are going to drop anytime soon.
Oh, geez, not in this country anyway.
No, well, not Nelson's, Danny. Why should fucking rugby ticket prices drop?
I suppose anyway, I suppose look, just say 30 years ago, it had been the other way around. You can probably have gotten a football ticket for the national team for love no money, and he's gotten the rugby tickets very easy. Now the shoe is on the other foot.
Yeah.
I suppose ticket-wise, so it's going to be like that for a while. But
I
then
have
again,
a couple of stubs of Five Nation tickets there, and they were a $5.
oh, for fuck's sake. You're probably looking at about 1,000% inflation now at the stage, I'd say, or close enough to tickets.
Look, hindsight's a great thing, but I don't think they didn't have the landlord capacity to make the stadium any bigger. And the design was the fucking fancy schmancy fucking bowl, and it's all so you know what I mean. Well, look, it would have been nice. The only thing is Croke Park is always there for the bigger games. Yeah,
just got a couple of games in there, but you know the GAA, they'll want their bit of cut as well. So that's going to drive ticket prices up a little bit as well.
No. As far as I know, like the GAA are very altruistic. You know, they're just doing it for the love of the game. I think they give a few at the stadium for nothing. No?
The kindness of the heart.
They charge them, Danny, do they?
Would the GAA ever do anything like that? No. Would they, Leonard? Would they? They're such a kind, caring, giving organisation, you know. God, Rod's bless them.
No, fuck.
Team McCarthy as well.
Yeah, there's tourism if you ever heard of it.
Yeah.
Look, they do what they do well. I'll give them that, and the stadium is there, and they do have fucking facilities. But just getting off rugby and stadiums and facilities, fucking Casement Park, 260 million. For fuck's sake.
Jesus Christ.
260.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind, but I've seen images of Casement Park there, and it looks like a fucking absolute.
It looks like a World War II fucking bomb site.
It does. I mean, like if you saw that stadium there, you think it's something from maybe it'd been left there like since the 70s or 80s. Yeah. It looks that bad. It actually does look that bad, to be honest with you.
260 million. Yeah, no.
Not hope. Not a hope, to be honest with you.
You'd build two from fucking scratch for less than
because like, to be honest with you, the way I'm looking at there is you're going to have to literally level the entire stadium and rebuild on top of it.
Yeah, you better go into a greenfield site and build a brand new one.
Probably, yeah. But like, I suppose, like anything, I suppose, Joe.
Peter Burke is going to interject here in a minute, right?
Yeah.
We'll press the button for the ejector seat, so we'll just fucking disappear off the screen.
but like,
just fade to fucking black.
But look at this then, though. He'd be like getting Munster out of Tolan Park and putting them in their stadium in Limerick or something like that. You know, there's a certain attachment there in Casement Park with Antrim and stuff like that. So don't look at it from that perspective. So I suppose 260 million, yeah, it's a huge fucking tag. But like as you said, you're going to have to just redo the entire stadium.
Yeah, look, there's an emotional and traditional attachment to it. In all fairness,
yeah. You know, every county in Ireland has that one stadium, you know, regardless of what sport they play and stuff like that. So,
Danny, the sweat's starting to come out through me now because I'm fucking panicking here. Work is fucking in the background, and we're still talking about you. We must be at least 2 minutes.
You know, we're probably lucky because he's probably gone off for a Heineken or something like that. or stick a Heineken or whatever. He's probably gone off for that, so maybe we're lucky enough that we can get away with talking about it as well. But you know what? We're 51 minutes in anyway, I suppose, and I suppose we'll start wrapping up now since
we don't drag the shite out of that one, didn't we?
Yeah, in fairness, though, yeah, Burke interjected now did kind of help out a bit, but I expect maybe half an hour and done. But yeah, let's see. We've a few games coming up, all right. But you know what, Len? I might leave the next Monday night show until 7th of July. Yeah, 7th of July, all right, I'd say, because we'll have the Ireland-Georgia game that Saturday beforehand.
I'm actually looking forward to that, yeah.
Yeah, and now that we'll have 3 of the Lions club tests as well, against the Force, the Reds, and the War test. So we might leave that to then anyway.
We'll take a little summer break, Danny.
Yeah, we'll take a quick break anyway. But like we'll have 2 weeks back.
Like if work is agreeable, right?
Yeah.
We could do just a GA show next week, since there's no rugby on.
There's
not a fucking football at the moment.
There is, right, Joe. We can talk a bit about that now for a while, just to bluff up the show a bit and stuff.
We can get in Mike Reed to make up the third. We're laughing.
Oh, geez, but the only thing is, he doesn't he have quiz night and Monday night? So wouldn't we have to?
If he wants to talk about his beloved Tipperary, he'll give it a miss. Don't worry.
See, I've gone off on me boat when I heard GA. Do a GA show, gents. Yeah, next Monday night do a gas show. All right. We'll have Peter Burke as our host. Okay, Pete? You can do it from your boat, all right?
Absolutely.
But like I'm looking up here, I said have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, we're going to be busy all the way up to the 2nd of August now when you come the 7th of July, because we have 5 straight weeks of games to look over.
Yeah, look, absolutely. Look, I know what I said about the whole Lions thing, that I don't get overly. I'll put it to you this way. If Zebre were playing Munster at the same time as a Lions match, I'm watching the Munster Zebre game and I'm recording the Lions match because that's where my passion is. But I still love rugby. I'm still going to watch the Lions match back without a doubt. I'm not going to miss it. It's just, you know, it's hearts for courses, and that's the passion there. But don't worry, I'll watch every midweek game and I'll watch every test game. You know, that's the story.
But like to us, then look at this. He'll give your other half a good chance to take a break from you, and she'll try to do gas.
The more rugby, the better, as far as she's concerned. You go watching rugby here. Hey, Danny, put it to you this way. That means I don't have to fucking watch Love Island. There's a match on Love. I ain't watching that shit. I'm gone. For the fucking love of fucking God, I like. What are you watching? Yeah, I'm out. I'm going to the other telly.
you know what? Then I'll tell you this one. So download Rugby Patch. All right. You have a rake of matches on there, and you can watch them on the TV and the tablet, on the phone, whatever. So if you ever want to say, "Oh, do you want to watch Love Island, or do you want to watch this reality TV show, or that reality TV show?" I have to say, "Yeah, sorry, Dubs, there's a Women's Super Rugby on here. We're watching that." Yeah. or something like that. You know, there's rugby sevens on. I want to catch up on that or something like that, maybe. So, you know.
Actually, I saw something on I haven't fucking clue now, right? But again, I think it was on Twitter or Facebook or something. Something about there's a rugby player, a sevens rugby player, something like that, in this Love Island thing at the moment.
There was at one stage, I think, anyway, yeah.
No, apparently at the moment. There's one in there at the moment, another lad from Limerick or something. I don't know who the hell it is. But somebody put up the comment that there was more fucking Munster lads have made Love Island in the last fucking 2 years than have made the Irish team. And I haven't a clue now. I haven't a notion. I have to fucking investigate.
I don't watch that shite.
I mean investigate through Google. I ain't doing me research by watching Love Island. Go on, listen, we gotta fucking wind it up.
But
we're only waffling at this stage.
Now, in fairness, then if there's a program called Rugby Island on during the Six Nations, I'd probably watch that. You know, 12 rugby supporters, lock them in the house, give nothing but alcohol and steak and late message.
Watch it. I'd fucking volunteer, to be honest.
We all would.
Fucking steak for a week on island.
Yeah, Glenn, the way I see it is, you have to live on alcohol and beef and steak and sausages and bacon and rashers and eggs. You know, that's your entire diet then for 6 weeks.
And the problem is what? What's the fucking problem?
It doesn't exist and I want it to exist. That's all I want.
That sounds good to me, fucking Danny. That's the idyllic fucking lifestyle.
Yeah, like I have to use this week, drink alcohol, eat plenty of meat and talk rugby. I was just doing the Monday and Thursday night shows.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
We need more games. Actually, now this is to the powers to be in world rugby. We need Monday games, Tuesday games, Wednesday games, Thursday games. So we can actually sit down fucking every night of the week and discuss whatever shit we watched the night before, drink beer and waffle on. Sorted, right? And you know what we do? We get Neil McKeown, who is a fucking absolute whiz. Well, I can look it up. The most obscure game is going. He will give us a rugby program to take us through the fucking summer. It'll be fucking, I don't know, fucking Fiji and fucking schoolboys, fucking second fucking B teams fucking playing each other. We don't matter. We'll discuss it. Right? It means we can drink beer and go. And what did you think of the St. Michael's Fijian B team fucking under 15s? They were amazing. They're fucking fly half. We won't have to watch it. We can just fucking bullshit on. Yeah, I think we were allowed to, hey, you were hoping to get 20 minutes out of this. We're on the fucking hour.
Yeah. We're at 58. I was thinking half an hour max. I said we'd do it. But that, you know, it's a fucking good show then. One of the fucking best shows. You know, for two lads keeping it going this long.
Daddy, Peter Burke always says, it's just a couple of lads having a few beers and bullshitting about fucking rugby. That's what tonight has been, without a fucking doubt. But I enjoyed
it. Practically 59 minutes, which we'll say 57 because we're talking for bad gas and Burke was in, so fuck it, we must have bullshit our way for this long anyway, I suppose. But you know what,
and we got all that between the two of us out of one game.
Okay, I think the Burke effect must be coming down as well because like we're bullshitting our way through everything now at this stage.
Hey.
I hint of Healy Ray.
Yeah. And that's their influence rubbing off of you. I just have fucking variables with IRE at the best of times, so don't worry about it.
Sure, look at you there, Len. You're practically between Wexford, Carlow, Kilkenny, and Waterford.
No comment.
There's no bullshit going around there now. Or the person. Len, I call it now. And
I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Then take care. I said, we'll be in July when we're back anyway. I will have a few games to talk about then. So then, until I see you next time, take care of yourself, man. Excellent second show.
Talk to you later.
I'll talk